What's up, guys? Welcome to a new Fooligan video. Man, I gotta get a new intro. So now that I'm done with Arena Cross until next weekend in Wichita, which I'll talk about, I'm gonna have the Sur-Ron there, hopefully, if I can fix it. I've gotten to open it up and see what was actually wrong with it, and it was pretty obvious. My suspicions were correct. There was a little bit too much power for the stock parts, and I'll tell you which stock part failed first. By simply removing the cover with these two small bolts, and once you remove it, you can see that the belt is very frayed. So there's pieces back here just fraying off. You can see on the sides of the belt, and then we'll show you the teeth. Ripped teeth, missing teeth. Yeah, I don't think your belt's supposed to look like that. As you can see here, it's completely missing. Luckily, that is an easy fix. So all we need to do, which we did, is order an upgraded belt. And then to get the belt on, you need to remove the rear wheel, the swing arm, and I'll show you. I'll pull all that off and we'll go from there. All right, before I forget, I have something for the boys here, if this works.
Let's get back to the show.
So the way a stock Sur-Ron Light BX works is it does have chain drive from the rear wheel to this drive, and then this drive takes over, as you can see, to the belt, and the belt goes to the motor. First off, it's way quieter than the chain conversion kit. And second off, it's probably a little bit easier on the engine because of the rubber and having a little bit of give. So first, this is your adjustment. There's one of these on each side, and as you can see, it goes higher or lower, and this is as tight as close as tight as it'll go. Loosen this first, and what that will do is that will let the motor go upward like that, and that will loosen this belt. You also want to loosen your motor mounts just so it will be able to move a little bit. You don't need to remove those completely. And then once we do that, we will take off the rear wheel, remove the caliper, take the chain off, and then we have to remove the swing arm, which will be this, I believe, 5mm, very small, but very torqued down, probably, bolt. So we'll get this thing apart, and then we'll see the full damage of the belt and everything from there. Now what you can do is use a screwdriver. I'm gonna put some paper towel around it so it doesn't hurt the engine, motor, sorry. And then you can pull it down, and that will push the motor up to help get the tension off of this. You can just slide it off, and you can see it's already getting looser. We'll move freely, and you can pull the belt probably right off. Yeah. You guys want to see another cool little test? So there's an axle that goes through here, right? Let's turn this axle, and let's see how straight it is still. Look at the wheel. That's not just me moving my hand. That thing's going like this, which means at some point I landed and bent it. So that's coming next. No, that ain't bent. That's how it comes. Now, getting the back wheel off is very easy. Make sure that you keep all of your parts together so that you can put them back on. This is the only top bolt you need for the swing arm. Put the bolt back in. There are bearings, I believe, in here, it looks like. So make sure that you clean all of these moving part areas. When you go back in, there's dirt everywhere. So we're gonna wash everything down before we put it back. Some of these bolts were loose because they're Chinese. So just make sure if you're gonna motocross one of these things that you go through it constantly, and you're gonna need to do some upgrades, but so far we've only found a couple. We gotta get this thing ready for Wichita in 1 week. The weekend of the 28th, we're gonna be racing this thing at Arena Cross again for the last one of the season that I'll make. There's one more in Tennessee. GT Arena Cross, check it out if you wanna make it, get some tickets. Unless we find some just detrimental thing and we can't get it back together. Oh, and my dog ate my charger. So that's coming back from Electro Co. So thanks to those guys for fixing that for me. This tiny little 5mm here that holds on the main swing arm bolt, right? It's deep, so make sure you get that all the way in there. So that will work. On this side, it's got this weird nut thing that I don't even understand, right? So I'm like, okay, it fits an Allen wrench in one of these slots. So I literally, like, it was moving when I was turning it. So I shoved an Allen wrench in there. I pinned it there. Look at that thing flex, but it's holding it. Every bolt I'm pulling out of this thing is bent. I guarantee the front axle bolt's bent too. Well, I got that out. Oh my gosh. It's just dirt and crap. What do you guys think? Should I put it back on for another couple races? Electro Co, 12 kilowatts of street power. Cheap Chinese parts with an American send. It's all right though. We are getting faster, guys. I'm not kidding. I haven't drank an ounce of alcohol or beer since before last weekend at Arena Cross. realizing how out of shape I was, like that's what did it. I didn't realize. So we're gonna take this a lot more seriously now. We're taking moto seriously because Moto Outdoors is gonna start soon. And if I want to tame this 500, I'm gonna really need to buff up and cut down on the beer drinking. So we started at about 155. I think I'm at like 148, 149 now, and that's only been about a week. So there was a lot of like water and top fat that needed to come off. My tooth is getting fixed soon. I'm so self-conscious of it, but you know what? Be yourself, who cares? Tucked away back here in my laundry room is my CR80 engine. It is a 2001, it might be 2002. It's my first bike. It's out there in the garage, but this is the engine. I have it completely apart. As you can see, the top end's off. The piston looks like it could be new. I think it is because we rebuilt this through RPM and we had it all done. And for some reason, it started sucking up oil from the case back up to the cylinder again when we were riding it, and it flooded itself. So if we can figure out the issue between the bottom end, probably completely split the case again. I will need help, but if I can get that done, then we'll have this 80 running too this winter, or sorry, this summertime. We have all of the parts it needs. They're mostly all OEM parts. Nothing really has been modified on the bike since I've owned it since probably 2006. I do have a photo. I've shared it on Instagram, I think maybe on YouTube, but basically everything OEM still for this bike. We'll get the engine fixed and thrown in, a couple cables, get the clutch perch, throttle done, and I have a new rear tire for it as well, sitting right there. And then this will be a little ripper too, man. It's only an 80cc, but it is an RB, a big wheel. You know, you could maybe even fit a 125 engine in it at one point. But I will show you the photo of me racing it when I was probably 13 years old, maybe 14. Actually, those photos were at I-80 in Greenwood, and then I broke my leg at Ashland, White Sands, broke my femur when I was 14. So that was fun.
Mr. Roboto.
Connected.